Contemporary Arab Studies and School of Foreign Service at Georgetown University. He joins me now from Washington, D.C. Thanks for your time, sir. As we look at these battles to and fro, the offensive and counter-offensive, are we looking at a very prolonged battle here for Libya, effectively something that could last weeks, if not months?
So this is a possibility, but the situation on the ground, we have like the anti-Gaddafi forces are pushing toward the west, even though they haven't like a good line of supplier and a good line of communications. They're determined to finish with this regime. Today, what did happen on the ground in the Zawiya, the pro-Gaddafi forces surrounded the city of Zawiya. They start using like a heavy artillery, using like armored battalions with like tanks, bombing civilians, which must be considered as crimes against humanity by using this kind of weaponry against like his own population. So it's a war of attrition, will take maybe weeks or months, but I think in the end of the day, the regime is on the verge of collapse, and I think in the end of the day, the force anti-Gaddafi, they will take over.
You know, there has been a reluctance on the part of Western nations, especially the United States, to give any overt military aid to the opposition. But would it be safe for us to assume that there is covert aid getting through?
Look, the United States has a broad range of options to implement over Libya. Libyans don't need like any military interventions from the United States, either the United States or the NATO. What the Libyans need is a kind of no-fly zone. Means to deny to Muammar Gaddafi the use of his like air force against the Libyan on the ground. So how to implement such decision? The United States has like military assets on the Mediterranean area, especially the Sixth Fleet, and will be able to disrupt all his system of command, communication, control, and intelligence. Means creating a kind of jamming his system to not allow him to use like any system to be in contact with other echelons or to be in contact with the famous 32nd Brigade led by his son. So, and in the meantime, the Americans will be able also to monitor the border, the southern border with Niger and Chad, in order to prevent the mercenaries to coming into Libya, inside Libya. And the United States will be able to send like a severe message to the African states, the African leadership, telling them, look, you are not allowed to sending those mercenaries to Gaddafi. So the United States has a lot of options now. They don't need like to bomb like the so-called anti-artillery aircraft. What they must do, what they should do, is to jam and to disrupt his system.
Now, there are diplomatic efforts by the United Kingdom and France to persuade the other three members of the United Nations permanent members in the Security Council to pass a resolution imposing a no-fly zone over Libya. Do you think they're going to be able to succeed this time around?
I think as far as now the National Transitional Council established in Benghazi is in contact with the main permanent members and the security councils with Russia and China, and they will be able to influence them and to tell them, look, your interest, and especially your oil assets in Libya, should be with us, with like the temporary or the provisional government, rather than with Gaddafi. Gaddafi is finished. Gaddafi is losing control of the country, and he's no longer like a legitimate representative of the Libyan people.
Okay, Professor, we're going to have to leave it there. Thanks for joining us.